What's good, y'all? It's your boy Smith. Today we're gonna be looking at the reason why none of us are gonna be able to own anything in the foreseeable future. But before we get into it, go ahead and like and subscribe, help build out this community, push this video in the algorithm. Anyways, let's go.
The government lays claim to 1/3 of the landmass of the United States. And in this landmass, they claim to have what's called exclusive legislative ability. And what they have done, they have combined all three branches of power. You have bureaucrats that sit behind desks, and they will write a statute or a regulation. And it has the effect of law. And now that is enforced by federal rangers who are armed. They're empowered to enforce it by lethal means if necessary. If a person gets crosswise with one of these statutes, they're then hauled into a federal court and tried by a federal judge. All three branches of power combined under one head. Now, none of these people, do we the people here, have the power of recall.
That's wild too. And they would want you to believe that they don't like each other. There's no way they could work together, right? No, there's no way I could believe what that dude believes. Nah, ain't no way. We don't agree with those guys, right? Like, yeah, right, bruh. Like, they got bigger plans going on behind the scenes that we could ever imagine.
Billionaires like Bill Gates are buying up massive chunks of US farmland. In fact, Gates is now the largest private landowner in the country. Why? Well, he's saying it's for sustainable agriculture, but a lot of critics are kind of saying it's about control of food, water, and land. But at the same time, China has been buying US farmland near military bases for quite some time now, and I just want to know why nobody's stopping this. If we lose control of our land, we lose control of everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it.
Now, when I think about this too, right, and it's for entertainment purposes only, right? But when I think about this too, I'm like, bro, this is the perfect way to push all of this 3D printed food, right? Like all this 3D printed steak and chicken, and I don't even think this is just being pushed now. Like, I think before they were doing it quietly, and now it's coming out, right? But I think this is the perfect way for him to do that. Yeah, it's much. And if you ask me, because I take care of animals, and I always think about this, like how do you get a robot to take care of animals or people, right? It'd be much easier to just build an entire facility that you can automate. And all of these machines just print out this food, because you can't get all these machines to take care of the chickens and the goats and the cows and all of that. So I think doing it this way is more cost efficient, especially in the long run. Yeah, and it's kind of scary too.
All right, does anyone else remember when the United States was buying up all that random land? Like, there were articles about them buying up random land across this nation and building buildings on top of it that seemed to be like prisons. And they were digging these big moats, like these big holes that almost looked like they were going to make like a mass grave site or something like that. Do you guys remember this? Because I remember it. I remember vividly seeing different articles about them buying up land across the nation and building up these prisons or something on top of them. And then it leads me to my next question. How long has this been in play? Was this the play? Was this the move all along? Y'all were just preparing for this? Because y'all did the same thing back in the 40s when it came to the Asian people with internment camps. So y'all did it already to the Asian folks. Y'all villainize a group of people, and then when bad stuff start happening to them, people be like, well, it's okay because they're bad people. I didn't know folks that was working, providing for their family, and paying taxes were bad people. Crazy to me, but whatever. But I want to know, does anyone else remember those articles and remember hearing about the United States buying up random plots of land and building these like prison things on top of that land? Because I know doggone well I can't be the only one.
Yeah, they've been buying land in neighborhoods and building stuff at an alarming rate. Even in my area, I live out in the boonies, and they out here on the edges doing work, right? But I don't remember. I had to think about that for a minute too. I don't remember too much about like them buying up all. I see it. I see it happening, all the development and stuff around me, right? But one thing I was concerned about is these fools putting up like neighborhoods. Tell me if y'all seen these neighborhoods that don't have like people in them, right? They're just houses that don't have doors and windows. I even have shopping centers like down the street. You drive by them and they're not shopping centers. They're almost flat, right? They're almost flat. Like they ain't put the shopping center up. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with that, right? Like they're just taking up space just to take up space. I don't know what's going on. They got a lot of plans, like I said, going on that we couldn't even imagine, man.
Federal government is in fact collecting your homestead and gardening data. There is no doubt about that. Federal government really has no business buying your homestead data. Why do they need to know how many chickens I have? Why do they need to know I have a garden? Why do they need to know what I'm growing in that garden or how much? I think that is completely ridiculous. But then when I looked into it further, I also noticed that it's completely outdated. And so no matter what you really think about this administration, some of the good things they're doing, some of the bad things they're doing, you know, I fall on both sides of that fence on things that I think they're doing well and things I think they're not doing well. However, because they're politicians, it's just the way all politicians are. It is very clear that this administration is buying your personal data, your personal location data. There's been videos on this. Also, Rob Braxman, who has like, I don't know, a few million subscribers on YouTube, I think, he is talking about constantly Palantir and all of the databases, literally thousands of databases that Palantir is compiling based on government data, based on purchased data that's commercially available out there on the market, all about you, making these databases so that they can all talk to each other, so that once you look up one person on one thing, it connects all of your profiles on all these other databases. This is something that's been completely proven that Palantir is doing.
They want all your data, right? They need to know where you are, so if they need to come pay you a visit, it's not that hard, and they need to know exactly what you growing, because they don't need you growing food for a whole army. They need us relying on them. So if you start getting too close to the sun, they're gonna come clip your wings. We are right. So it just is what it is. But you can at least get a little bit more control, right? Get yourself some land. You see that dude had a nice plot of land. Get yourself some land and start doing something.
Sale of a couple thousand acres of prime North Dakota farmland to a group tied to Bill Gates has stirred some emotions over a 1932 law meant to protect family farms and raised questions about whether the billionaire shares the state's values. State Attorney General Drew Wrigley has asked the trust that acquired the land to explain how it will satisfy the state's anti-corporate farming law. It prohibits all corporations or limited liability companies from owning or leasing farmland or ranch land, with some exceptions. Wrigley says the inquiry is a matter of course and not meant to stick a finger in the eye of Bill Gates. The state's Agriculture Commissioner Doug Goring says he's heard from people who feel they are being exploited by the ultra-rich.
They said they tried to stop the corporations and the LLCs from getting farmlands. And now I have an LLC that works with animals, right? I work with animals. So getting like agricultural loans and stuff like that is quite easy, right? That's actually the next step for me. But I didn't even know this was in place, right? They tried to stop this fool, and he was like, nah, bro, I know people. And that don't matter. I buy this. He buy that whole state.
But they are going to start limiting Chinese ownership of American farmland. Why do you think that the Chinese have been buying up all this farmland in our country so close to military installations?
Well, I don't want to get into that. I have a very good relationship with President Xi. We're going to see, and I'm going to, they're going to be making a recommendation to me, but we have a very good relationship. As you know, they're paying a lot of tariffs to the United States now, and so I'm not going to get into that right now.
I don't know in what world it would be a good idea to start selling the land inside your country to people outside of your country, right? Like, you should probably sell it to the people. And bruh, that's I don't know, you see what I'm saying? There's definitely something going on. Why would you do that? Right? And I'm not gonna act like it's hard, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying, yo, we can't get houses, we can't get land, anything like that out here in Florida. Actually, Bill Gates bought up most of the stuff out here in Florida, and we're still able. Like, I could walk into, like I said, I could walk into the bank and get land on a farm right now for if I would just sign. So, yeah, I'm not gonna act like it's hard to get, but some people have been facing that issue. Maybe not me, but somewhere out there, man, the walls are closing in.
This image behind me here has recently been going viral on X for all the wrong reasons. Now, as you see, this is this is a map of the United States, or at least it's a map of the United States plus Mexico. Now, in the green is what used to be Mexico, and in the red is what used to be America. And as you hopefully know, if the education system has not greatly disappointed you, is that part right there is now all America. Now, here's an argument that continues to come up time and time again. This is stolen land. As a matter of fact, this is stolen land. All of this land is stolen. That the so-called founders have no right to this land. They took it by force. To those who continue to push this narrative, let me just give you just a brief little insight into history. Every group of people who is currently residing on a plot of land and has been there for a significant amount of time had to do one of two things. They either had to defend the land that they took from somebody else, or to, quote unquote, take the land from somebody else, AKA they won. Yeah, I said it. They won. Your land wasn't stolen. It was conquered. Now, we could say that this is brutal, this is inhumane, but this is the way that the world worked. I mean, this country fought to end slavery. This one did not.
Now, I bet you put up a present day picture of that same idea, and it'll have little chunks of purple and yellow over here, and then some blue right over here, maybe some orange right there. I don't even know what none of these colors represent, but that is us selling our land to a bunch of people outside of this country. It don't make no sense.
Everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year. And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up. So after a horrible year last year, where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big, beautiful bill provided a much-needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis the American ag economy is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
I'm a sixth-generation farmer from Newport, and we made a decision to go out this year. In the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
So we've got farmers begging for emergency funding, socialism, right now, bailout from the government, or they're going to go under. 1 in 3 farms could go under. How many more farmers are going to unalive themselves in this process? Our food system has painted farmers into a corner for the most part. You either do it this way or you get the fuck out. Because the rest of the ways are really unaffordable, unattainable, unsustainable. You'll go under. Right? There's some farms that have gotten a niche, whatever. That's fantastic, and I wish more people could do that. But for more farmers to have a niche, how the fuck you say that? They need people like you, shaking their hand, buying the food that they're raising. But also, the average farmer is 58 years old, and like half of them are over 65. And the entrance into agriculture for a young person is impossible. Like, what young starting out family is going to can buy 50 acres and run some cows and hogs? Run 10 acres. It's $15,000 to $25,000 an acre here, just for the fucking land. And let's not forget that the fucking ocean of corn and beans that we all drive through, that soil is dead. That's why they put all the tile in it, because it can't absorb moisture. It doesn't have any fucking nutrient density. It has no fucking microbial soil life. It has no mycorrhizal fungi. It has nothing. So for our food to be nutrient dense again, the first thing we have to do is rehabilitate all this fucking soil.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's such a fucking can of worms.
Yep.
And we're just speeding down the freeway the opposite direction, the way we need to go.
I know he's not wrong 100%. We have to rebuild the soil. I build my soil from the ground up, putting in raw bark to charcoal and moss and sand, and then add nutrient. He's not wrong about this. We're gonna have to. It just is what it is, but not everybody has the knowledge that this man does about farming. And wouldn't it be messed up, like the government so messed up that they would hear all this, not even offer to, any type of assistance for the people who have been feeding this country for the last 500,000 years or whatever, right? They wouldn't even think about offering these people assistance. Let all of these farms go under, and then as soon as they do, go buy all this land for a fraction of the price and throw AI data centers right on top of them and 3D food printing centers right on top of them, and it's really kind of messed up, man. And they're doing it like right in front of our face now. Right, that is all. I don't even know if that's current, right? But that was at one time, right? All of the farmland that one dude owned in the United States. That is crazy, and I'm pretty sure he owns much more outside of this country, because we're not the only farming country on this planet, right? There's a lot of countries that do farming, and they have a lot of land out. There's a lot of land out there, right? I'm almost tempted to start doing like this dude in another country, right? I am Mr. Smith, foreign investor, right? Buying all this farmland in a third world country. It just is what it is, man. We got to get land. We got to start taking back some type of power, bro.
We have a new trend in the U.S. real estate market, and that's billionaires buying up farmland all across America. We're talking Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Ted Turner, and Stan Kroenke, all of whom own hundreds of thousands, if not millions of acres of land across the US. Now, why are these billionaires buying up this farmland? Well, they're doing it as an investment. Bill Gates has come out and said he's buying up land across 17 different states because he views it as a good investment for the future, with 1 acre of farmland appreciating by 400% over the last 20 years, going from $800 to $4,000 an acre. And what many of these new owners are doing is that they're killing the small farm. And the small farmer in America, the number of farms has dropped from 6 million in 1930 to less than 2 million today. A vast majority of our crop production is now controlled by mega conglomerate farms leasing land from these billionaire investors. And so I'm curious, what do you folks think about these billionaires buying up farmland around the US? Let me know in the comments section below.
The idea of them stepping into a market that they don't have nothing to do with, and they've been doing this with everything, literally with everything, right? We seen they stepped into video games, the whole video game industry, right? And they don't do nothing but produce trash. And we've seen the quality go down, right? I'm pretty sure they do this with everything. We've seen that happen with movies. Right, you got all it ain't just the people who are passionate about films and filming, right, making movies no more. You got these big corporate companies, and they're all making trash, and we see it. We've seen it with TV, right? And they all moved in and just complete everything they kind of get their hands on. Inadvertently, just starts dying. They pull the life out of it because they don't know what the difference between living and being alive, right? They don't understand that. All they understand is money, and it's kind of weird, right? But yeah, now we see it's happening. I don't think this is new. I think they've been doing this for a while, and this is why the quality of our food has been going down so much. They got their hands in that now, and yeah, just we gotta start growing our own food, man. It's only gonna get worse too. It's only gonna get worse. We got about 14 minutes to go buy land. Y'all better get on it.
Figured out why Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland and what it means for you if you're a farmer or rancher. Reverend Wild Ranch sent me an article on Instagram about Microsoft buying carbon credits from this cattle company in Australia, and I realized, well, obviously he would much rather sell carbon credits to himself rather than paying some people he doesn't know in Australia. So that's why over the last few years he has become the largest farmland owner in the United States, because he knows that carbon credits are definitely going to be a huge part of the farm economy, enough for him to become the largest landowner. So if you are a farmer or rancher and you are not planning to become a carbon sequestration engineer as one of the primary facets of your farm or ranch income, you are going to get left behind in this industry. Because over the next 50, 100 years, the biggest part of farm income is going to come from carbon, biodiversity, water banking, and native species preservation, what they call co-benefits.
I don't know nothing about half of the stuff this dude said in this video. But I tell you what, Mr. Smith is already, I'm elbow deep into the native species conservation. That's what we do over here at All Things Living. So, I ain't gonna be like we okay, right? But once again, we do a thing that these people can't automate with a machine. You can't look a human in the eyes and tell something wrong with a machine can't, right? Even when their mouth is telling you they're okay. Same with an animal. The machine can't do that. Even when an animal is okay, that machine can't look at that animal and tell that something's wrong. Right? Then no, they're not behaving right. We need to take a look at them. But yeah, I don't even know what none of these other farm jobs are. I don't even know what they are. I've always worked with animals, right? That's since I was a kid, so that's the only thing I knew. I knew humans were greedy and animals would need help one day. So that's what I do.
This is like a super niche experience, but I just want people to hear about it to like understand like what goes on in like the land purchasing area. I don't even know what it's called because I don't know much about it, but this is my experience. So a little background. My dad has owned hunting property since before I was born. He bought it when he was probably 25 for super cheap. He's 60 now. And it is in the middle of nowhere. It is in like mid-northern Michigan, 5 miles deep on a dirt road. There's not a gas station or grocery store within 30 minutes. It's all farmland around it. It is actually an overgrown Christmas tree farm. And there's no electricity run to the property. There is a old pump well. That's it. There's no buildings. There's no house. It is literally just woods. And it is actually like in the Manistee National Forest or something. But anyway, I have for the past 2 years straight gotten calls, texts, emails, letters in the mail from development companies and private equity firms trying to buy this property in the middle of nowhere. And it is in a very underdeveloped, poor area that, like, you know, the people up there really have to work hard for everything that they have because there are no jobs. And I just know that these companies are reaching out to these people that have essentially nothing other than their house. And maybe their land's been in their property or in their family for years, and offering these all cash same day offers for this, and they're probably taking it because they don't have another choice. But it is like a I don't even know what word it is, but like it is like a corporate greed like experience, and it's like really scary to think about these major companies buying everything. Like, what do they want this property in the middle of Michigan for other than to sit on it and wait for some company to come along one day and be like, I want to build a manufacturing facility, or I want to build an Amazon warehouse. Like, that's all they're going to do with it. Or build a house, maybe. Build like a neighborhood, not a house, but a neighborhood. But it is like a really scary experience to be seeing this at 25, like, you know, newly in your career, eventually want to buy a house, knowing that you may never be able to. Even in, you know, the middle of nowhere in Michigan, because private equity firms are buying everything. But I know that this is not probably a unique experience, because I guarantee that there are farmers, other people who own hunting properties, other people who just own a couple acres that are vacant, that get these all cash texts and emails and letters that these firms like harass and push on you to sell. But anyway, it is like a really, I don't know, I'm like scared. I don't know, it's scary. Every time I get a text, like I feel more scared about it.
Yep, well, I 100% believe that everybody, like I said, if you just do what you're supposed to do, you'll be able to get a house. It may not be able, or may not be where you want, right? You might be in an HOA, your neighbors might be close, and that's something I don't even like dealing with. I'm in an HOA right now, and I'm looking for land once again, but yeah, it might be in an HOA that, you know, in a situation, your neighbors might be a little close, right? Whatever. But if you do what you're supposed to do, you should be able to, man, just get on it quick, bro. We don't have much time. Remember how I just said we had about 14 minutes. We got like 3 minutes left. Y'all need to get down there and talk to them people and start setting yourself up. Otherwise, like, what are we doing? You know, and I heard about these corporate buyouts of this farmland, right? There's a lot of it out here in Florida, but these dudes aren't coming empty-handed, right? They're not going and offering these farmers and these people that have been living out there, ain't been offering them peanuts and Cracker Jacks, right? These people are offering them sometimes 15, 20 times, right, what this land is worth, really enough money to change their lives. And in some cases, these farmers have integrity and they're like, yo, we don't want your money, right? But in other cases, I understand why they would. You heard her just explain that some of these people don't have anything.
What's going to happen is everybody's going to start getting government letters, and it's going to tell you who a particular ancestor was related to you.
What?
A big mama.
Okay.
When you get this letter, it's going to tell you either report to the, depending on the state and the citizens in the state. In Michigan, it'll tell you report to the Small Business Administration and take this letter with you. When you take the letter with you, there's going to be somebody at the Small Business Administration whose job it is to show you your whole shit. It might be another organization in a different state. They know who we all is. You think they was taking the census just to be taking the census and they wasn't using it for nothing? They've been watching every one of us. They know our bloodlines from when they erased us in the 1800s to now. They know who all of us are. All of the ones of us who was original to the land, they know who we are. They got our shit on reserve. And ain't nothing they can do with it but reserve it for us.
And then they're going to give it back.
They got to. Now, who else they going to give it to? They can't give your shit to somebody else.
I love it.
But that's why they gave us all of this. Everything they used to oppress us has been used to liberate us. So the Social Security number that they was using to enslave us, now they finna use it to pay us.
Yo, I don't know what my uncle's talking about, but he said they erased us, and I don't know. I have no idea what's even going on. The government ain't about to pay us. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Pay us? Give us our land back? Yeah, they don't care. They ain't giving us nothing back. They gonna find out who my ancestors are and then come and arrest my ass. I'm not playing with them. I'm not messing with them.
Buying vacant land might be the biggest mistake of your life if you don't do your research, but that's why you have me. Number one, are there any wetlands? Just so you know, wetlands are hard to get rid of, especially if there's a lot of them. So this is a very, very, very important question. You can't build on wetlands, people. You can't put a fence on wetlands. You can't do anything. Second question you should be asking, what is the max square footage that you can build on the property? Whenever I sold my brother his property before agriculture zoning, he can only build on 20% of the property, but his neighbor can only build on 10%. Call. Every lot and parcel is different. Number three, what is the current zoning? Is that what you want to have it zoned as? What's the current use? Is that what you're planning on using? If not, post-closing, you're gonna have to apply for rezoning. And what if you don't get it? You still want the property? You know, there's a lot that goes into it. Number four, a lot of people don't realize that trees mean you can't build on a property sometimes. If there's a lot of trees, you're gonna have to remove those. Did you know that there are certain requirements of trees that you can remove, wooded lots, if you're able to actually remove them or not? So call the city or the county and make sure that these trees can be removed. Number five, what are the building setbacks? Where can you start building? From the front, from the rear, from the side and the side. Number six, is there direct access to the property? And I know that sounds silly, but can you get to the property from a road? If not, you're gonna have to apply for something called a an easement. So number seven, are there any easements on the property? You're going to have to honor that, and easement will carry with the property. So do your due diligence. If you have any vacant land that you need help on, feel free to give me a call, because let me tell you what, the worst thing you could do is close on a piece of vacant land and then be stuck with it. And it has a bunch of wetlands and nobody wants it, and then you have to sell it for less than what you bought it for because you didn't know what you were buying. You know? If you want a part two of things that you should be looking for when buying vacant land with Chrissy Sieber.
Boom, and just like that, I went ahead and added that piece. So for anybody walking in there in the next 14 seconds to go buy land, you know exactly what you need to do, right? Anyways, that's gonna wrap the video up, y'all. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. I know you could have been anywhere else on this planet, but you decided to be here with your boy, and that means a lot. I promise it does. Anyways, I'm out.